Good evening, folks. Welcome to Monday Night Live. I'm just going to move my sliders from the floor down there because terrible housekeeping here. Let's just move those. Excellent. Great. Well, it is Monday. Monday night, a couple of nights before Christmas. You're probably all sat at home watching your Christmas movies with your families. If you are planning on being here, then thank you very much. I do appreciate that. Just going to do a little bit of fixing up my windows. Let's go to full screen so that I can see everything. Let's get this out of the way. I don't know if anyone will come this evening. Who knows? It might just be me. I've got my piano loaded up in front of me in case I need to entertain, or I've got my guitar in case I need to entertain there. Who knows what is going to happen? Hopefully you can hear me okay. I am just going to type in a little message, engage with my audience. No, okay, not going to engage with the audience because there is no audience. 2 weeks post Valencia. Let's start there. I'm just going to chat because this can be a bit of a debrief video for the channel anyway. How's the recovery going? I am getting there. Hey, all the way from Canada. Welcome, my friend. How you doing? I hope you're doing well. Have been enjoying some of your wisdom. Go check out this guy, Yobster Runs on Instagram. Same handle, isn't it, on Instagram? You're doing very well. You got a face mask on though? You're not ill, are you? Yeah, same handle. Awesome. Go give Yobster Runs a follow. I want to say you're in Toronto. Am I right? Hopefully I am. How is your running going? How's your training going? If it's not Toronto, yes! I tell you what, I wish some of the others were here because honestly, some of the weeks, my ability to remember who's who and where people are from, it has been absolutely dreadful. Yeah, I bet. You must be like, are you in like complete sub-zero territory now? I'm assuming you are. We lived in Vancouver for a number of years. Oh, no, we didn't actually. That's an absolute lie. We lived there for a year, and it was like it was cold for a bit, but it wasn't crazy. But everyone always used to say like Toronto, like inland Canada, proper cold. So we had friends from Saskatchewan, and like it seemed that all people ever did was just ice skate, basically. Welcome if you are just joining us. There is somebody else on the channel who has joined. I've done a crazy thing this week. I've set up channel membership. I don't really know what it means, but YouTube asked me if I wanted to set up channel membership. So you can now become an official member of the PKS Runs family for a small monthly fee. I think it's like £2.99 or something like that. So I should advertise that. I think you might get special stickers or something. Who knows? Yeah, training. Yeah, training in the snow or training in the ice is really, really hard. I actually like it, but you've got to be properly geared up. I think you've got to have like, yeah, standard running shoes. Do not do it. I can't imagine doing intervals out in the snow. I guess it's possible, or ice. I guess it's possible. Like if you, I don't know. Let me know. Like what happens in like to track clubs and things like that. Do they have under track heating? Is that a thing? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Or do you literally just go and get your ice skates on, or run inside all winter? Yeah, I think it would kind of depress me. Yeah, properly dressed. Yeah, covered in ice. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if we even get, I can't remember the last time we had snow, but if there is even a sniff of snow I will get my trail shoes on and I'm out there. I absolutely love it. But I appreciate that when you have it possibly for about 2 hours a year, it is novel. When you have it for the entire winter, it's probably less novel and more a pain in the ass. So yeah. Um, so yeah, I thought I'd talk a little bit this evening about how the recovery is going. Some 2 weeks post marathon, and I'm really easing back into things. A couple of things that obviously I've talked about on the channel before. Heart rate is massively important to me. So the data that I've been looking at over the last kind of couple of weeks has been HRV status on my Garmin. So when I wake up in the morning, heart rate variance, lower the number, the kind of more in shock in recovery mode your body is, the sort of the higher that number nudges, the better your recovery is going. Yesterday was the first morning that my HRV has been in the green since probably 4 or 5 days before the marathon, which was evidently when my body started fighting whatever it was. I have been really, really tired. I've been really stressed, actually. I've got a lot going on outside of like the running space and workspace. So yeah, I mean, I'm just getting out and running and doing what I can. This morning I was exhausted. I went to bed quite late. Um, well, actually, I went to bed at a really good time, but ended up chatting in bed for hours. Um, and yeah, slow return. So I've not done any kind of speed work. I had hoped this morning that I might do a few strides just to reignite the engine, but unfortunately, my legs had nothing in them. I mean, it was a real stretch to increase any kind of pace. So that's okay. I'm being super patient. I'm going to try and get 100 kilometers done this week. And yeah, I want to record another video because I want to talk about my plan in detail for 2026. But since you guys have shown up, feel free, by the way, just to ask any questions at any point and change the conversation at any point, because you may have more interesting things to talk about. But at the moment, my plan for 2026 is I got my place for Valencia next December. So that's December the 6th. And I need to do a little bit of thinking about this. But what I am wondering is to give myself a 12-week marathon training block. Oh, I'm giving myself thumbs up. That's good. Give myself a 12-week marathon training block starting in the middle of February. And I'm going to train as if I'm training for Valencia. And at the end of the training block, I'm not going to race. I'm just going to have a taper. So have some deload and then give myself a couple of weeks break. And then I'm going to do that same training block again. And that I've sort of worked out the timings of this loosely. That will take me to the middle of August when we'll have our family holiday in France for a couple of weeks. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to go for the taper. I'm going to have a couple of easy weeks, down weeks before I then do my big marathon build for Valencia. One of the things that I was reading this week, which is in Matt Fitzgerald's Running by Feel, is about kind of the temptation to mix up your training crazily. And having loads and loads of different sessions and keeping everything different. And the reality is that most elite runners will do the same sort of blocks of workouts, month after month, year after year. And I am going to come back to your question, by the way. I'm really keen to almost do 3 identical blocks so that when I'm in it third time round, A, I know what I'm doing, B, I know how hard I should be working, and C, I will have some actual benchmarks to measure myself on. I think that will be really, really useful. So I am planning to run the London reverse. So that is the London Marathon, but backwards. And you start at midnight on the night of the London Marathon. So before everybody starts, and you run back the reverse route back to the start. I think they have like 4 or 5 thousand people. It's not a registered event. You don't get a medal. You don't get a T-shirt. I think you can, but I doesn't like. I don't genuinely don't do it for medals or T-shirts. I think it will be great fun. My friend Calvin from South Africa is coming over. He's going to run it. He has been unsuccessful in the ballot, so we're going to run it together. We met at the Manchester Marathon. Um, when was it? Gosh, must have been 3.5 years ago. I probably I absolutely racially profiled him because he was a stick thin black African, and I just assumed he was like an elite runner. And we got chatting. He said he was going to go for sub 3 hours. I was going to go for sub 3 hours, and I was like, oh my goodness, like I've got to spend time with this guy. Anyway, we've become friends and we've hung out and we've seen each other. He lives in South Africa, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to run it together. I dream my dream for my 50th birthday, which is 4.5 years away, is to go and run Comrades, which is an ultra marathon in South Africa with Calvin. He's done it twice now. So yeah. Okay. How has recovery been for you over the years as you've grown older? Yeah, great question. I mean, recovery after a marathon block and actual race, it's a load with other commitments, work, family, and all. Yeah, I think that really is why, as it stands next year, I basically just want to race once. I think racing a 5K and a 10K, I think you can probably get away with those in terms of like minimal recovery. But the reality has been that I think there's a real cost to racing. So I can't remember. Sorry, I've got to get better at remembering who has written what in what books. But there's um, uh, some evidence to say that like you shouldn't run for 2 months after you've gone hard in a marathon. Some people just get straight back at it. I have been, I think, because I didn't fully spend like I didn't run to complete exhaustion from a physical perspective. It was more like a what I was able to do like aerobically because I wasn't feeling well. My body has actually felt pretty good. I didn't run for a few days. Well, in fact, actually, till I think last Friday, I think was the first time I ran. I have absolutely needed just so much sleep. Um, I think it's been a really strange. I think doing this training block going into Christmas has been really strange. I think a couple of things that um, have I've been relatively healthy over the training block. I haven't drunk at all. I did have a night out with some friends last Saturday, and had some drinks late night, and that has kind of set me back this week. So I think, yeah, my girls are teenagers. One of them's temporarily away, not like in prison or anything. Just she's working 5 months in the French Alps. The other two are around. So yeah, I think it's really hard. Like it is a hard balance to kind of figure out. Like I need to get out and run for my mental health, but I also need to be present with my family because I'm aware that during marathon training, I think I can just get a little bit insular, and all roads point to the race. And look, I'm an amateur runner. I've got a full-time job. I've got loads of other things that are probably more important to running, more important than running. But at the same time, I mean, I just love it. That's the thing. It is genuinely like a life source to me. So I I just keep on going with it. I think in 2026, I want to try and figure out how to live a bit more of a balanced lifestyle. And I said that at the start of this marathon training block, and then marathon training kind of got in the way, and I got super excited, and um, yeah, I just uh, got carried away basically. Because I think if you go back to week one of the marathon training or week -1, I think actually said something along the lines of, I'm going to go with no intention to beat any kind of time. I'm just going to see how it all goes. And then you give it like 3 or 4 weeks, and suddenly you start to see this shift of like, okay, like the intervals are feeling a bit better and everything's feeling a little bit better. And I suddenly had this confidence that I could run it. And all of a sudden it's like I'm balls deep in 240 marathon training. Um, so I'm personality wise, I tend to be quite obsessive, all in. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it well. I want to try and give it everything. The reality is, it's so hard to give marathon training everything unless you are literally going to give it everything. One of the things that I have considered is trying to hire a coach next year. But the reality is, to get a really good coach, it's quite expensive. To get somebody who's going to give some really targeted input, it's hard. So I'm in the new year. I'm going to be looking for channel sponsors. So if you know any little businesses that want to sponsor a struggling middle-aged runner, then they'll get a lot of airtime on YouTube and on Instagram. Very excited that I have lined up an ambassador partnership for Kudu Protein, which is super exciting. I've been using them now I think I found out about them at the beginning of the year. This year, I tagged them in a post probably around the London Marathon time and just said, look, really love your stuff. Like, it's good. So it's basically collagen protein sachets, 85 85 calories, no added sugar, and 20 grams of protein. So it is pretty much pure protein, no shit added. It's collagen protein, which is really good for aging runners like myself. This isn't like wasn't intended to be a paid piece. Anyway, I've got to do like a post a month, and they are going to be looking after me for all my protein, which is super exciting. So we are seeing like little glimmers of growth in the PKS runs ecosphere. I think I'm about 250 watch hours away from getting monetized fully on YouTube, which is fun. Look, people don't come in huge droves to watch my videos, and that's okay. I'm trying to just do something authentic. People often ask me about, whether I do shoe reviews, and I know that people love a shoe review. However, I just can't, with all integrity, I just can't do them, because at the end of the day, these shoes work or don't work for my feet. My feet have got, completely individual bone shape and structure and arch height, and all of that. Um, what works for me may not work for you. So yeah, I want to play the game on YouTube, but at the same time, I don't want to play the game on YouTube. There are loads of people doing great shoe reviews: Ben Parks, Kofuzi, Ed Budd, local lad from near here, actually. There are plenty of people talking about running shoes. You've got Des Fit, you've got DC Rainmaker talking about gear and technology. I think what I'm trying to figure out for 2026 is I really want to build on the community element. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that, whether it's like to set up some sort of like WhatsApp community, whether I do a school community, SKOOL. So I'm trying to figure that out. But yeah, again, I've got the full-time job, I've got the training, I've got the family. It's like it's a lot to do. Do I need to add a lot of additional complications to the life that I'm trying to live? Probably not. I would like to get a bit better at the Instagram stuff. I was doing really well with creating content regularly, and I took a couple of weeks off to have a holiday, which was absolutely the right call. Instagram absolutely punished me for it. Like my engagement literally fell off a cliff. And yeah, it's been hard to get back into it again with the training. And like once you're in a flow, like I was literally posting a video every day. I had like a really good uh, kind of, I guess, process. I'm just out of the practice. And now, like whenever I run, it's pitch black. So it's not even like I can just take my camera out and run with it because it's just dark. So yeah. Um, Yobster, how many miles are you doing a week? And I can't remember. Are you training for a race? And if so, how's that going? Given that I'm guessing you're doing all of your training inside, which must be quite hard. I thought we might have some of the regulars here this week, but I thought we might have Cosmin. He's a big treadmill, currently on 30 kilometers. As in, you're on a 30-kilometer run now on a treadmill, or 30 kilometers a week? Because am I right in thinking you're relatively fresh to running? Is that right? I've lost my speakers have turned off, but there is no sound, so that shouldn't be a problem. Just gonna try and pop out my dash. Oh no. Oh, I've broken it. Oh dear. I've lost you all. Oh, crackers. There we are. We're back. We're back. 30 kilometers a week. And how are you breaking those 30 kilometers down? Is it like a one longer run, two shorter runs? Yeah, October 2024. So that's amazing that you've got up to 30 kilometers. Have you trained before or exercised before? Um, or is this like a whole fresh new exercise regime for you? I've been going now for 4 years and probably about a month. So you can make a lot of progress over 6 months, over a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. I had run before that. So I started when I was 27, and it has been pretty sporadic in the sense of, there's been times where I've run loads, and then there's been times where I've run next to nothing. But you can really, really get, if you stick with it consistently, you can really, really make incredible progress. I'm always excited when people are like fresh in running, because it's the time where if I think if you're just consistent, I think consistency is all you have to do to get PBs all the time. Like I miss PB, like I miss being able to PB on a regular basis. But if you kind of just stick with it, like stick building that aerobic engine, you will absolutely, yeah, you will get PBs. Yeah. Okay. So I mean, and that's probably pretty good. If you've got some bit of strength behind you, that's really, really useful. Definitely recommend um continuing with strength training. Strength training and running is like absolutely key. 3 marathons in 2025, February, May, and October. Wow. Which one are you doing in February? So I presume it's going to be like Baltic um, in Canada still. So you're going uh, down to the States. There's one in Daytona we learnt about last week on last week's Monday Night Live. I think in Florida, Daytona Marathon, I think it was, in the start of February. I'm actually looking forward to heading to Texas at the very beginning of February. So hopefully will be slightly warmer than it is here, um, which isn't that bad. So yeah, 3 marathons. Let us know which ones they are. We've got a few people like dipping in and out. It's a funny thing with YouTube versus um, Milton Keynes. We'll come back to that. Yeah, so there's a funny thing between like Instagram, you can see who's on live, and on YouTube you can't. So if you are in, there's a couple of you in at the moment. Do say hello. It's nice to engage others. Why on earth are you doing the Milton Keynes Marathon? Of all the marathons in the world, you're going to Lagos in Nigeria. That's super cool. Toronto, that's super cool. Uh, Milton Keynes. Oh, sorry, 3 marathons in 2025. Sorry, not 2026. Lagos 452. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting my years all mixed up. You started running in October 2024, right? Yeah, we're in trouble because I honestly, when I read that in my mind, I was like, "Wow, you've been running for 2 months and you're doing a marathon in February." I was like, "Gosh, that's gonna be rough." Um, Man, that is such solid progression. 452, 352, 335. Um, that's amazing. So, but in all seriousness, how did you end up running the Milton Keynes Marathon? Um, that is, yeah, that's extraordinary. Um, that's amazing. There must be a family connection. That's going to be my guess because as a Brit, I don't know why anyone would go to Milton Keynes. It's just roundabouts, all roundabouts. Do you just run around roundabouts the whole time? I'm going to look it up. I'm going to Google it. Milton Keynes Marathon. Let's have a look. Oh dear. We really struggle when we have to try and get technical on this on the PKS Runs channel. Believe it or not, my job is actually software. So you would think that I was good at this. I've lost the stream. There it is. My word. Completely incompetent. Milton Keynes Marathon. So, although I said that I wasn't going to race, I might just do some marathons as just training long runs. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's great. If you can line up a race with a work trip, that's perfect. I had one of those last year. I was in Sydney, um, and there was a half marathon going at the same time, and it was, yeah, perfectly timed. Very easy to get in. Do you know what? This is my bugbear. This is going to be my bugbear of 2026 is how ridiculously hard it is to get into marathons. So hard. Just out of curiosity last week, I think I mentioned this last week actually, out of complete curiosity, I was looking at events for next year just to run, and it's like, it's slim pickings. If you want one that's got closed roads and good aid stations, you can forget about it. It's going to be really interesting to see how oversubscribed Valencia is. For those of you just joining, if you want to run the Milton Keynes Marathon on the 3rd of May 2026, it is currently available to run. Probably because Milton Keynes is a complete shithole. I didn't say that really. I wonder how many people do it. I mean, it looks like it's on a closed race, very well organized race. I can imagine. Join the 1% club. I wonder how long it's going to be before it isn't 1%. I think it's going to be. It won't be long before it's like everybody in the world has run a marathon. Okay, start time 9. Actually, looks like a really nice route. In fairness, can't spot many roundabouts. Um, and what I like is in sort of the most traditional sense, it is a kind of like a bit of an out and back by the looks of it. Let's see if I can get this onto the screen. We're dreaming. I'm never going to be able to get this onto the screen. You're just going to have to imagine it. Yes, there is a stadium finish. Okay, so I don't even know what would that be? The MK Dons, Milton Keynes Dons. Formerly, they were formerly um, Wimbledon AFC, I think, or Wimbledon. Anyway, they were the OG Wimbledon, and then they got franchised out to Milton Keynes. Um, Gosh, top 10 finish times, 2:29. Wow, it's incredible, really. Yeah. So here's one of the other things I've been thinking about is paces. So yeah, got chatting to a number of different pacers when I was at the marathon in Valencia. Guys from Kenya who are, I guess, they're fast enough that they are trusted to pace like the fastest runners in the world, but I guess they're not fast enough to win the race, and so they don't have any kind of real value to sponsorship. So they come and do these events, and they probably earn a little bit of money, which they take back to Iten or Eldoret or wherever it is that they're from. But they don't seem to have a very clear route to getting into a big race where they can win some money and be able to support their family, which is why they have taken up running in the first place, because they see it as a solution um to their poverty. Really, it honestly, it really opened my mind to, or my eyes to, kind of some of the wider running culture and context, and it was very interesting. But I'm thinking that these guys that I met would absolutely smoke the Milton Keynes Marathon. That would be a hoot, wouldn't it? At the moment, the course record is a leisurely 2:29. I mean, I say leisurely. Obviously, I've not run that fast, but uh, yeah, it feels like it would be ripe for a runner to come in and like blitz 2:10, and that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Because I guess the only way that you can attract big sponsors is by having a faster race, and the only way that you can have a faster race is by having faster runners. Faster runners don't want to run at these events because they want to do the iconic London, Manchester, New York, Berlin, Tokyo. So there's a lot to think about. There is a lot to think about. But my primary thought is it's really hard to get into races. Um, yeah. So plans for me, I despite doing all right with the running and recovery, I'm actually not in a particularly good place mentally at the moment. So that's over the Christmas break. Just need to kind of get myself on a bit more of a equilibrium. That's going to be my plan. You wouldn't see you never see what's this side of the camera, which is my computer. I've got a piano in front of me, and I've got my guitar. And one of the things that I would like to do over the Christmas break is like to record a bit of music. I was going through the audio notes on my phone, because I changed phone recently, and found a song that I must have written probably 7 years ago, and it was just sat in a incomplete. I must have done a voice note, sat at my piano, and sort of poured my soul into a bit of music. And I thought, oh, be quite fun to see if I could record that. So that's one of my little jobs for Christmas. Um, and I am going to start reading the book of Proverbs. from the Bible. I used to be a church pastor. That is a story for another day. Um, but I haven't been involved in church or kind of faith for quite a long time. And I thought reading the book of Proverbs might help me just to kind of like, maybe there might be some useful stuff in there. So maybe I could do a reading of Proverbs on the PKS Runs channel. That might be a bit strange. Um, and what else is going on? Yeah, so the reason we were up late last night, I'm gonna talk about this, is that we were just talking about our like Laura, my wife, and I have been married for 21 years now. Our first daughter was born in New Zealand. Our second daughter was born 3 months premature in Vancouver, in Canada, a week after we had emigrated there from the United Kingdom. Our third daughter was born here um, in Taunton, and we have had so many crazy life experiences. Like I think we've lived probably about 10 full lives between us. And I was thinking, gosh, I need to start like documenting all of this because, we were having kind of oh, do you remember when sort of moment? Um, Not in a Niles Barkley crazy way, but just in a like, oh, do you remember when this happened? And do you remember when that happened? And we had to move house and like all of these crazy things. And just the reason I say all of that is that running has been like the central pillar since 2007. So it has been my go-to kind of coping mechanism when like everything has turned to custard around me. Like obviously my family has been a solid. I think probably if I look deep enough, like my faith has been a constant, although it's been quite rocky and it's looked quite different at different times in my life. But running has been something that I've returned to consistently. Um, so yeah, why am I saying all of this? Why am I saying all of this? 2026 is, I think, going to be a year of like massive, like introspective reflection, getting healthy, like mentally and spiritually. Um, Started running at over 40. Well, yeah. So I mean, I got back into. So I started when I was 27. In fact, I am going to try and do a screen share because I really think I think it would be worth it. Let me just see if I can get into Strava and show my training calendars because this will actually be really helpful. So I've wanted to do a video about this for quite a long time, and I've never quite. No, that's not the way to share a screen. Okay, share a screen. Training calendar. Also share. Cool. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious me. This is incredible. So, yes, you can see, right, 2025, I've run run and cycled on my bike a load of times. You can see 2024 was 2024 was super consistent. In 2024, though, I actually fractured my foot somewhere around here and didn't run until somewhere around here. So I had a couple of months out of running here. And then I built up to my marathon here and then on to London. 2023 was a really running. So you can see here, but you can see mileage not quite as high. 2022 was when it all kicked off. No, it wasn't. 2022 was another good year. I was pretty intermittent here. I struggled with injuries. 2021, back into it. And you can see here, I started a little bit in November, didn't run at all in October, had a little bit in September, did 6 runs in August, 5 in July, uh, 4 in June, a little bit there. Started in January, super keen. When I got back in here in the November, it was actually a good friend of mine just sent me a WhatsApp and he said, hey, be ready to run a half marathon in December. I've signed you up and we're going to do it together because you've got to do it. At that point, I was quite overweight. And if I go in here, I think it was sometime around, I think this run. No, it wasn't that run. Let's go back. I can't remember. All I can say is it was super hard work. Maybe it's this one. Who knows? Nope, it's not that one either. I don't know. We're going to be guessing. But anyway, it was a really, really. Let's go for the 18th. That was let's split it in the middle. Nope, wasn't that one either. But you can see a real difference here, though. 43 minutes, 5:23 per kilometer. And my average heart rate for there is 150. Like, I'm so much fitter now than I was then. I wasn't actually doing too badly at that point because I had literally run every day because I wanted to get myself ready to do this half marathon. It took me, I think, 1 hour and 52, and I was redlining the entire way. So I think my heart rate was mid 170s. Yeah, carnage, absolute carnage. It was trail, so a little bit harder. But yeah, I actually use a really cool third-party app on my Mac called Elevate. And now that we've mastered screen sharing, I will show you this chart because it's pretty cool. And with that, we'll probably say goodbye shortly after that. But let's just have a little look at here. Elevate app. So this basically has got all of my Strava data in, and I can see my progression over the year. And you can actually you can chuck in whatever years you want. So you can see here 29, 2018, and then we can identify which was the lowest year on the record. So the worst year I think was turquoise 2019. Yeah, so 2019 I ran 79 kilometers in the entire year. So yeah, so actually you can see that build. It has been really, really consistent from from 2019. 2019 was obviously is that COVID? I don't know. What's your typical annual weekly mileage during your marathon block? How do you structure your training plan by yourself? Yeah. So up until start of 2024, I never did any real structured training. I've never had a coach. Not quite true. I've signed up for one online influencers coaching program, and it was bullshit because it was dubbed as personalized and going to be week by week, and it was evident from the very get-go that I was just getting the same generic plan as everybody else. I have downloaded Ben Park's training plans and taken bits from them that I enjoy. I absolutely love reading books about running, and I just take bits from all of them. So the way that I tend to structure, or rather the way that I got to a comfortable place in the Valencia marathon training block, was easy run on a Monday, hard run on a Tuesday, rest day on a Wednesday, hard run on a Thursday, easy run on a Friday, long run on a Saturday or Sunday, depending on. In the first month of the training block for Valencia, on a Tuesday, I did hill repeats, and on a Thursday, I did intervals. as the time went on, I lost the hill repeats and did more just speed on both the Tuesdays and the Thursdays. And I think that worked really well. Total volume in the peak was welcome, Barry. Um, uh, yeah, peak week, I think I did 140, maybe 145 kilometers, which was, I think that's about 80 miles. And the reason for for those of you who missed this earlier, I'm basically going to do 3 training blocks in 2026, but only do one race so that I can do the training and kind of basically incrementally build on them. I'm really trying to figure out, obviously at 45, like what is the what's the upper ceiling of like how can I maximize performance gains without, well, for the least amount of effort, quite frankly. 85, 80 miles a week was just about manageable. And I did that mostly on, I'd maybe have one double run a week. Yeah, getting past that, getting into volume that's higher than that is going to be really difficult from a timing perspective, just because I've got a full-time job. If I was only responsible for doing this, then obviously I'd be able to do that. I am in my spare time. I started this. I think I announced that I was starting this time last year, which is I'm doing my personal trainer qualification, and level 2 gym instructor and level 3 personal trainer. So over time, what I'd really love to do is like step back from corporate work that I do and move into like training people and giving advice. But as you probably know, the corporate world pays well, so very difficult to make that leap. And yeah, sadly, not sadly, but obviously my boss doesn't feel like me just being a professional runner whilst he pays for it. You ran Belfast last May. Peak mileage was 64 miles. Tough going, working full time. Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. It's like I think everything sacrifices. So the way that and do let us know how you got on in Belfast. Um, Obviously keen to know that. I think the difficulty is in a training block am probably in bed at 9 and I'm asleep by about 9:30 so that I can get up at 5:30. I get to the gym 3 mornings a week to do some strength work um, at the gym. That's like a 45-minute session and then straight out to run after that. And yeah, it's just really hard. 3:42, 10th marathon, best result, 42 years old. Yeah, man, you're smashing it. I honestly, I actually think from a mental perspective, like the older you get, the wiser you get. And sorry, we've still got my mileage chart here. But what I would say, let's turn that back off. We've just got that hovering. That for those of you who hadn't seen, this is really my progression over the last however many years. Really, my lowest point was 79 kilometers in total in 2019, and peaking this year at 4,151. And yeah, I'm 45 and a half now. I don't know why, but I've got this like slight. I've never really been competitive. I've never had this desire to. Certainly, don't have the desire to race anybody else. I mean, I don't give a shit about anyone else. But I'm getting to that point where it's like, okay, so I'm in the uh, male 45 category, and like curiosity is getting the better of me, where I kind of think, oh, I wonder like what would happen if I could still run, like if I could be running a 2:45 at 50, or could I keep that going until I was 60? Because then maybe I get to put on the England colours or something. I don't know. I mean, I'm dreaming, obviously, but I think if we're consistent, we can keep on going. We can keep improving. At 42 years old, I ran my first official marathon, and that was Manchester. That was 2 hours 59 and 17 seconds, and I then beat that a year and a half later with the 2 hours 45:55. So, hey Matt, how you doing, mate? Welcome. Um, Matt also ran Valencia. Um, I think had a much nicer time than I did because I was nursing a sick wife. My legs have nearly returned. I thought my legs had returned, and yesterday they were feeling good. This morning they were dead, absolutely dead. So I think it might be because I literally consumed my body weight in gingerbread yesterday. Never, you actually cannot underestimate how diet impacts your training. It really does. I'm going to go sugar free in January again. Yeah, you had 2 weeks of you. Matt really did spend all his running tokens. So general wisdom is you've got like your target race. Matt did say to me earlier on in the year that he never does anything at like 90 higher than 95% effort, so that he's always leaving a little bit in the tank. He emptied the tank 100%. Yeah, for the 240 up. No London. I got rejected by everyone. I didn't get a ballot place. I applied for 3 charities, I think. Didn't get a single charity place. I said, you don't even realize who I am, clearly. Unbelievable. So didn't get that. I'm doing the reverse London. So it's the anti-London. I'm going to do it overnight. I'm not going to race it. I've got my ticket for Valencia. We go again. I might just move to Valencia. I'm not sure if the family will come with me or not, but I might just go. So that's the plan. Yeah. Every time I think I'm about to finish this, like someone else turns up and it's like, oh, this is exciting. But I'm basically Aubrey. What do you mean I can't run? Manchester sold out. Honestly, mate, it's ridiculous. I did actually genuinely did look at Manchester last week, and I was like, maybe I could do Manchester because that was where I did my 2:59. It'd be nice to like be. I think it would be like a homecoming. Yeah, sold out. Everything's sold out. Milton Keynes on the 3rd of May is not sold out, and they've got a course record of 2:29. So I almost think let's blow off 2:40. Let's just go for 2:29. Let's dream big. But the summary is for 2020 Dublin. Yeah, it is the running boom. Do you know what? I recorded a video today. I recorded a reel for Instagram that was basically like, look, guys, if you're going to start running in January, great. Please go for it. If you're going to sign up to a marathon, can you do one of the shit ones so that like you're not taking a place at one of the really good ones? And then I thought, do you know what? I'm not sure that's going to be a really popular one. There's one thing for it, Paul. One thing for it, Paul. There's one thing for it. Go on. The thing is, I want to do 3 training blocks, Matt. We should have a chat about this. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I actually think, genuinely, in all seriousness, I think an ultra is easier than a marathon. I genuinely do, because they walk uphill, and they run downhill. They have a jacket potato every 5K. Mate, I'd be up for doing one if you want to do one with me. I'd be well up for it. Shots fired. Yeah. I don't think Damien Hall watches this one, actually. I think it'll be all right. Is it Damien Hall? Is he the vegan guy? Anyway, probably doesn't matter. UK Ultra 50K. I wish they'd all stick to the park runs. Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I'd be up for that, mate, actually. I'd be up for a casual ultra, casual 50K. I did a 50 earlier. I did 50, when was it? In July, actually. No, maybe it was June. I just did it on my own, though. That it was lovely. I took my bank card, got a packet of salt and vinegar crisps halfway around and a Coke. I think I bought myself a pack of biscuits, and that was that. It was lovely. I had an absolute whale of a time. Um, doing something with people actually feeding you, I think would be a dream. So let's put a pin in that. Let's do a PKS Runs ultra marathon event. We will all go, and we'll have fun. Matt's proposing South Downs Way. It's a long way from here. Make it happen. Yeah, we will make some. We're gonna make something happen. I'm currently just got to get running properly again. It's amazing how much my Garmin hates me, and how much the runner predictions on Strava hate me. You know, having had 2 weeks of like recovery post marathon, it's like I'm losing a minute a day on my marathon time. So I've got to make it back. The other thing that I've got to do in 2026 is sort my adductors out. Those of you who've been long term, Cotswolds Way. Yeah, I can imagine what happened there, mate. I can imagine. I've seen enough of you now to understand where that probably ended up in a cider farm. Yes, my adductors. Long-time subscribers of the channel will know my adductors, sorry, not my abductors, my adductors have caused me significant grief. In the last few nights, I've been waking myself up in pain again. So I do need to. I've actually, by my desk, I have an old school thigh master to help me strengthen my adductors. The thing is, it feels like my nuts are going to explode. So I'm not going to do that in front of you guys. But yes, I do feel very much like Rosemary Connolly of 1980s Keep Fit videos fame. Yes. 4-part runs over the next 10 days. Really? I haven't done 4-part runs in my life. Genuinely. We've actually got one in Bridgewater. It's just opened up. It's about 3 weeks old now. What, a thigh master? Barry, at its top draw banter. I love that. Yeah. For an additional fee, I will lie down on the floor and I will do some thigh masters, and you guys can all watch. All you need to do is just press the dollar button, and it's a bit like OnlyFans. It's just only PKS runs. Anyway, before this takes a turn, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. What we'll do is I have been consistently posting videos on a Sunday, which was yesterday. We had a bit of a family situation. My dad is elderly and had to go to hospital, and that's kind of as much detail as you guys need. Suffice to say, I didn't really have any capacity to create a video. It's now Christmas, so I'm not going to be creating a video over Christmas. I will try and create some videos, but I think what I might do in the new year is I want to do some out and about with the GoPro like I used to, but I think I'm going to try and do like weekly reviews as a live, so that I go through the data once without having to like do the editing, just to try and streamline my process. When it all happens, I don't know whether that will happen or not. But certainly we want to keep this going, because if nothing else, I want to get 4,000 watch hours in a year so that YouTube will actually give me some money. That's the key, is I want some money from YouTube to buy some more shoes. We need lots of them. Merry Christmas, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the longest Monday Night Live to date. And Merry Christmas. Have a great time. Do find me over on Instagram. That is probably, if you want to get a response from me or message me, that is going to be the best place, because that is where I tend to do lots of my messaging, at PKS Runs. Brilliant, guys. Love you all. Thank you so much. Great fun chatting and happy running.